Welcome to a tale that feels older than the wind and softer than the sands that cradle the Arabian moon, a story not written in ink, but in the very heartbeat of time itself. This is not just about love, it is about a whisper that still lingers between the dunes, about a name the desert refuses to forget. When Sheikh Hamdan once spoke her name, the world stilled, and somewhere, eternity listened. They said time heals all wounds, but how can time mend something that was never broken, only made sacred? The desert knows his secret, the stars have memorized her name, and every grain of sand carries the echo of the love he could never let go. His heart, though wrapped in royal silence, beats with the rhythm of her laughter, like the sound of rain falling upon an endless thirst. Each night, when the city of gold sleeps under its jeweled sky, he walks beneath the constellations that once witnessed their promises. The cool desert breeze brushes against his face as if carrying her touch, faint, familiar, eternal. He doesn't chase memories anymore, he listens to them, because even silence has started to speak her name. They had met like two verses written by destiny, flowing into one another without knowing where one ended and the other began. She wasn't a dream, she was the awakening of his soul, the reason poetry suddenly found its voice. The world saw a prince, a leader, a poet, but she saw the man who prayed under the moonlight, whispering her name like a sacred prayer. Years passed, but the love never faded, it only deepened in the stillness of his soul. Time tried to erase her shadow, but love etched her name in places where no wind could reach, in his breath, his pulse, his every unwritten verse. Sometimes, when he pauses between words, the silence between his heartbeats fills with her memory, and he realizes that love never truly leaves, it transforms into a whisper that lives forever. There are nights when the desert glows differently, softer, more golden, as if it too remembers her laughter. He stands there, motionless, his gaze lost in the horizon where heaven kisses earth, and the past brushes against the present. In that moment, he feels her presence, not beside him, but within him, alive, breathing through every sigh he never let the world hear. He once said, "A poet's heart never forgets, it just learns how to speak in silence," and so he speaks through his verses, each line a pulse, each word a remembrance. Those who read him think it's imagination, but those who listen with their hearts know, it's her. She lives in every metaphor, every moonlit stanza, every breath between his words. The royal corridors may echo with footsteps and duty, but his private chambers carry a different sound, the faint whisper of her name. Sometimes, in the early dawn, when the city still sleeps and the horizon is only a pale promise, he writes again. Not to the world, not to fame, but to her. To the memory that still makes his heart rise before the sun. Love, for him, was never an emotion. It was a vow sealed in the silence of the desert, a bond that not even time's unrelenting hands could undo. It was a language only two souls understood, a melody too sacred to fade. The world saw years move on, but in his eyes, she was still there, timeless, radiant, untouched by the passing days. Sometimes, when the royal duties weigh heavy, he escapes to the dunes. The place where it all began, where her laughter once blended with the wind. He closes his eyes, and suddenly the years collapse. Her voice, like a breeze, brushes past him again. The sand shifts as if to remind him that memories, like deserts, hold everything that once mattered. People say love fades when distance grows, but for him, distance only purified it. Her absence became his muse, her silence his scripture. And though the world moves forward, his heart remains rooted in that one eternal moment when her smile first turned his world into poetry. The poet in him smiled then, because he realized love like theirs doesn't fade, it evolves.
Sometimes, when twilight paints the desert in shades of rose and gold, he feels her spirit moving between the dunes, graceful, gentle, and eternal. The stillness around him feels alive, as if every heartbeat of the earth remembers her. He does not speak then, he simply listens. Because love, when it reaches beyond time, doesn't need words, only silence deep enough to hold everything that was ever felt. He recalls the night she once traced constellations with her fingertips, naming the stars after dreams they shared. Now, those same stars look down upon him, burning like tiny letters of an unwritten promise. In their glow, he finds comfort, not in the memory of what was lost, but in the beauty of what will never fade. It's as if the heavens themselves decided that their love deserved to live among them, glowing softly through eternity. Behind every royal portrait, there's a beating heart. And behind Sheikh Hamdan's royal calm, there's a man who loves deeply, silently, beautifully. His verses are his confessions, not of power, but of surrender. The kind of surrender only love can inspire. His poetry shows the world that to love is not to lose control, but to find peace. In moments of solitude, when royal responsibilities fade and only his heart speaks, he writes again, not of kingdoms or triumphs, but of her. His poetry no longer seeks applause, it seeks peace. Each verse is a bridge between now and forever, each word a touch of her essence that refuses to disappear. And as his pen moves, the air thickens with the scent of jasmine, the fragrance she once wore, as though time itself bends to return her presence to him. His followers across the world aren't drawn only to his titles or charm, they are drawn to his humanity. In a world obsessed with perfection, Fazza reminds everyone that it's the imperfections that make love divine. His words teach that a kingdom is nothing if it's empty of emotion, and that the greatest victory is not over land or throne, but over one's own pride when love calls. He sometimes wonders if she feels his longing beyond the veil of this world, if her spirit visits the dunes at night, brushing past his heart like the wind that never rests. He imagines her smiling, proud of the man she inspired him to become. Her absence taught him strength, her memory taught him grace, and her love, that endless, echoing love, taught him what eternity truly means. He doesn't mourn her, he honors her. Through every poem, every whisper shared with the stars, he builds her immortality. For what is love if not remembrance? And what is remembrance if not proof that some souls were meant to meet, even if only once, to change the meaning of forever? Even the horses sense her when he rides beneath the moonlight. They move slower, calmer, as though aware that someone unseen rides beside him. In those moments, he smiles, not with sadness, but with gratitude. Because he realizes that love is not measured by presence or absence, it is measured by how deeply it transforms the soul. And she, his forever muse, transformed his in ways words will never capture. Now, when the wind sweeps through the desert, it carries more than dust, it carries devotion. The desert whispers her name, as though conspiring with the heavens to keep her memory alive. And he listens, always listens, because it's in that whisper that he finds peace, proof that love, when pure, never truly dies. So the story continues, in verses unseen, in winds untamed.